Indaida host inamalahari korosikinatairo Shumahigana hohi hai un inamana holokadasiri. I exist in you as the Most High God. And I give to you that which is to be given to the children, that as you teach and you preach, they may come to the true knowledge of all that God is. But they will also come to know that God exists in them as them. For unless they come to know the way God is, they will not know how they happen to be. And there was no man who knows how he came into being, because no man was given to know the way God exists as everything that exists. We have given unto you the many ways in which God manifests in everyone, and yet no man knows that he is because God is. Everything is because God is. Without God, nothing is. We taught all these things to the children while they were on the sun, so that in all the ways they came to earth wax strong in wisdom and understanding, they were able to do great and marvelous things on earth. And they did. They did. And everywhere that earth was a valley of death, they brought it forth into the spring of life. And everywhere on earth that the children of God went, they transformed everywhere into a paradise. And these things they could not remember. Those that were banished to this valley of death were those that practice every evil that your God shows the children continues on to this day. For all that the children did for them, they turned the paradise into Hebron. For all that you see in this world today is all that God showed the children, how they changed what they did, and they brought decay into the world. And everywhere that the world decayed, it got worse and worse and worse and worse. They are ingrates unto the children of God. And because the children of your God did not obey what we told them never to do, they find themselves in the long suffering of all that which came forth from the evildoers on earth. Everything God told them that you see in the world today that is, was. Nothing has changed. For no one knew how they came to be on earth, for no one knew how they came to be into existence. And they existed on the higher worlds. And they did everything that God has shown the children, why they should never have given unto them the sacred secrets of creation. The children lost those secrets. It was lost to everyone. For your father and mother God were angry with the children, for they were disobedient to what we told them. And so the children wandered in this valley, never ever knowing how they came to be the way they are today. In all of the things we have given unto you to say to them that you have preached and taught, you told them you were gods, you were rulers, you were kings and queens, princes and princesses, because you came from the royalty of the sun. And when they came here in their royal diadems, that is how they were great and mighty, because their royal diadems are the mights and powers of the sun that was hidden within them. There is a wisdom in God that is never really understood by the children. For when the children lost all that they had, they did not know that they would become earth dwellers. And earth dwellers put on all their fancy jewelry and diadems around their necks and upon their bodies. And God said, you know, son, no one questioned these things. Why is it we wearing all these things on us when we came into the world not wearing anything at all? God showed them that they forsook the great and higher ways of a great and higher God for all the lower things in a subterranean consciousness that is of earth. They could not remember that their greatness came from all that which they had with them when they came from the sun, because the sun rules the earth. It is the light of the world. It is the might over the world, and the sun is the majesty that rules. And so when the children came as rulers, they came because they had that which is of their mother and father God, the Son, and they carried it within them because God shows everybody how it is you can prove your paternity. And God's children carried the paternity of the Son in them. All this talk about melanin, this and melanin, no, God said no, son. No, no, no. That is what they had from earth. They came with greater powers, greater mights. And that is why they were rulers and gods. You must teach them these things, because our children are so lost that they know not who they are, nor they know not how it is that they became so low in a subterranean consciousness that they could no longer mediate with their father and mother God of the sun. They didn't come from here. They were not given to stay here, but they ended up being stranded here. And because the children of God know not the way that they are great and mighty, they are always calling on strange entities and deities that cannot save them. They cannot hearken to them. Because when the children came here, all the demons that were relegated to the bottom of the earth that came up from the evildoers feared the children of God and fled. They fled because they saw the mights of the children of God, and they knew that the children of God had might that was more powerful than what they ever had. You know, when people speak in tongues, they have little understanding of what it is that causes them to speak in tongues, or even why they speak in tongues. And the reason we have given you all the many tongues that the children in the different lands will speak is to show them that the tongues were the ways of God, of the Son given to them, so that everywhere they speak in tongues unknown to many, they spoke in the language of the Son. All languages man speaks today are the languages of earth, but the children were given to speak in the language of the Son. And we have given you to speak it freely, because that which is of the Son is in you. For when the many hear you speak and ask you what language do you speak, and you tell them, it is a language not known to you. And you speak it freely, because you are in connection with the Son. You speak it that way. 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 And there's no one can speak it the way you speak it. Because everyone that speaks in tongues has to wait to be given to speak, and can only speak what is given. And you can speak it in the language of the Son and in the language of man, because we show you that is the way the children were. They communicated with the Son, but they could communicate with the languages of earth. They had no way of knowing that in all the ways that they came and left, that they had forsaken the way of the Son God and have found the ways of demon gods on earth. They have lost the way in which their vibrations and frequencies that were of the Son were reduced so low that they were no longer able to communicate with the Son. We have promised them, you have promised them, that in all the ways that we gave you to give to them that which is in the promise of the God of the Son unto them, they will be redeemed back into the Son. And you must tell them that you don't even know that you are changing, in order that you may be able to receive the gift of redemption. Because many of them don't understand why they go somewhere and they feel they can't stay there, they don't belong. There's something in there that doesn't make them feel well and right, and they have to get out of it. That is an awakening. There are those who also are given that everywhere they go to bed, they feel they have slept for a long time, and they wake up and find it's the wee hours of the morning. They haven't slept for that length of time. And they keep doing it, waking up early, going back, waking up again. And they don't understand what that means. It's an awakening. There are many things that God has given unto them. that they have not yet known. For there are those that feel that they are ill because they feel at times that they are out of breath and can't breathe, or their breathing is changed. They're not ill. They are awakening in the preparation for the tribulations that will come, that is coming. Tell them these things. Let them know these things, that God is taking out of them the ways of man to restore back into them the sacred and divine vibrations of the sun. For until they are able to reach the level of vibrations that will be in the frequencies that sets the rhythm for them to be able to communicate with the sun, they will remain stranded on earth. Let them know these things. For every one of them said God works in mysterious ways, God's wonders to perform. I tell them that is the way, the mysterious ways of God and the wonders of God are being manifest from you, through you, and into you. Speak these things. For we have said unto you, you will teach them to know themselves, and you will teach them to know the way in which the world was created and how it exists, and why it exists the way it does. There are many things you have said to them. They are yet to understand, but they will. They will. For as the time closes down on the stay of evildoers on earth, God separates the children from all those that will never, 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 ever enter into the kingdom of God. Teach and continue to preach. For in all the ways that God's judgment is already upon man, so will this final phase of tribulation teach man that in all the ways that he walked as an ingrate before God and the children of God, God will never, ever forgive them for what they have done. God will never, never forgive them. For the forgiveness of God is with the children of God. And God knows all the ways to tell the children, hearken unto the things that we have given, that you may find the way to the redemption of God in the light that will be restored into you. God's grace goes always with you, for the love of God is always within you. And in every way that you give all things from us to the children, let the children of God be given the blessed assurance that all is well with God.